remember the first time I decided I didn't love myself. Middle school. When my body would come home after a long day, but my mind didn't. For it was too afraid to let my mother see the bruises it had collected, because every day it took a beating like a child would from their parent the first time they decided to talk back. So my mind had to learn how to bite its tongue and stay stuck back on the playground, where every day my peers' words turned insults would march into my thoughts like Israelites, making my self-esteem their walls of Jericho. Needless to say, eventually my defenses started crumbling down, and before I knew it, the words they labeled me with, I began to wear like a name tag. And being employed to others' opinions started the slow process of the replacing of his image, and the mirror beginning to reflect exactly what they told me they saw. Am I ugly? Why is my head so big? Why can't I be taller? Maybe that's why I always fall short of others' expectations. I began walking into school desperately clinging to a hat to hide the head they said was too big, keeping my head down to hide the face they said was too ugly, engaging in every social interaction, holding a lunch bag full of food and fear, carrying a backpack containing confusion, my insecurities, and textbooks that managed to teach me how far away the sun was from the earth before I learned how to be comfortable in my own skin in all my life. These thoughts of inadequacy have slowly stalked down my confidence like a wild beast with its prey. And if you were to ask me, I have become the epitome of not good enough, a walking imperfection, a breathing oxymoron, because I don't know how my heart has managed to become this empty, yet so heavy. Heavier than the anchor that has chained itself to my identity to drag it into the deep end of my self-hatred, my body. My body a hostage to a world where I let others determine its value so easily its ransom so easily at their own value. The sidewalks of my thoughts sees happiness paroled immediately by the officer of insecurity, handcuffed and convicted to a life sentence never to be seen strolling down the streets again. And night after night, I spend on biting this tongue to let out my emotions to what feels like the ceiling, screaming, God, your light of this world is looking dim, and I keep having this question over and over in my mind going, if Jesus proclaimed the victory, why do I feel like these thoughts defeat me every day? God, if you created me to be beautiful, if you created me in your divine image, why do I feel anything but beautiful? God, how do you expect me to believe in you without first giving me the confidence to believe in myself? God, why? Eric, my child. Why have you let yourself become so easily influenced by a culture that tries so hard to be different yet all looks the same? Why have you let yourself become buried in a grave of worthlessness when I already rose from one to prove there's nothing I want to conquer for you? How about instead of living like beauty is only in the eyes of the beholder, try putting it in the eyes of the one who beholding the weight of your world up with his fingers? Holding the weight of your world up with his fingers, the one who beautifully and wonderfully knitted you in your mother's womb to love you with no strings attached. How about you try taking off that backpack to unpack your confusion and insecurities and put aside that textbook just for a second so you can address how far away my son has been from your heart, and ask yourself that if I dress even the lilies with beauty and splendor, how much more time will I take to design the ones that I died for? Then maybe you can see that you were literally a living canvas of the most accomplished artist to ever live. See, I've been taking what you may call graffiti and making it look like the ceilings of the Sistine Chapel since the first chapters of Genesis. How dare you? How dare you let others make you question my handiwork? Next time, tell them to read scripture so they can see my resume. so they can see how I perfectly use imperfections to prove my perfection, since that man Moses back in Egypt, who spoke in broken sentences, ironically managed to break sentences off of my people. So before you question my design, how about you question the design of the box others try to put you in? Because last time I checked, I don't make mistakes, meaning you ain't one. Nah. You are a child of a loving God who makes mistakes but has the privilege to be a breathing oxymoron thanks to my grace, and has a purpose not found in others, but found in me.